Rosenberg is the founder and president of Real Results Fitness, a dear friend of myself and of Angel and of Live to Give as a whole. And so I'm so excited to just hang out with you. And so much has changed. I mean, I know, I've been a part of Real Results or connected in some way for like 7 years. I don't even know if you've realized it's been 7 years that we've actually known each other. How long has the gym been around?
8 years.
Okay. Yep. That's about right. Yeah. Because when I
This month,
first came in, when is it?
pardon me, this month is our 8-year anniversary.
Oh, cool. Well, happy Real Results birthday month.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fairly new when you guys started, when I walked in those doors for the first time. And so that was 7 years ago. And when I think of Paul Rosenberg, I think of someone who is just honest and to the point. You are like the shredder of excuses. I don't know if you know that, but anytime myself or I've seen anyone else like come to you and say, hey, is this okay, or can I lean this way or lean that way, and you just find a way to bring them back in that focus. And so I think it's really cool that, I don't know if you notice, and I'm sure you do, but you're more than just training people physically, you're training their mind as well, because that's the most important thing, and that's how they can continue showing up if they have a good mindset, right?
Yeah, I
And
think
letting
that
go of those excuses.
I, if you're successful in one area of life, you can be successful in another area. And I feel like those characteristics and attributes carry over. But
Yeah.
for some reason, people don't bring those attributes where they already have success into their fitness life. So they need to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
And I have, as far as telling it like it is and being honest with people, I have a trainer filter. So when someone says something, it goes through the filter in my head, and then I'm able to give my feedback on it, because people don't realize when they're making excuses or they're not committed to something. So when I hear someone say something, I'm able to process that and give them proper feedback. And that's why people might have the perception of me like you described earlier, where I'm just going to tell it like it is and be
Yeah.
honest with it, or call people out. So I'm good at holding people accountable because I'm an observant listener. And so I'm able to hear what people are really saying rather than what they're trying to feed me.
Right.
And I think that largely stems from, I'm that way with myself. Because if I'm going to preach that, I have to live that. And
Right.
so I hold myself accountable. And it really goes along with our slogan, which is better every day. Because ultimately, you're wanting to keep growing and improving all the time. And if you see a pattern in yourself, or if I see a pattern in myself, then I'm going to want to fix that. I don't want to continue to accept that as a reality. So I
Right.
try and fix that about myself. I'm not perfect, obviously, but that I'm wanting to constantly grow.
Why do you think people can have like a successful business or move up in the ladder of a business or become a CEO, but when it comes to them, their personal, where's that lack? Where's that disconnect?
Well, I think a lot of people gain a sense of fulfillment, um, and it's very instantaneous, that sense of fulfillment, when it comes to their career. Like, you make a sale, it makes you feel good. You complete a task or a project, you get like a little feel good off of that. And our work is a, a very large part of our lives. And we tend to be in a field, particularly for a career or a job or what have you, or an industry that gives us a sense of fulfillment. Otherwise, why would we be in it? Because having a job is not as satisfying, and people don't stick with jobs
Right.
unless they're getting something out of it that gives them some sense of fulfillment other than monetary. But when it comes to staying in shape, or getting in shape and staying in shape, it's you might not see that instantaneous result right
Right.
away. Like if someone has 40 pounds to lose or 50 pounds to lose, or they've been inactive for a while, and then to think that they're going to get back into shape, it's not that easy for them to just snap their fingers and
Yeah.
everything back to normal. And if you have 40, 50 pounds on you, it makes everything that you do harder and more uncomfortable.
Sure.
So people are accustomed to um, discomfort or stress when it's mental, but when it's a physical, that's something that they have to get themselves accustomed to, because every time you do it, it's going to be hard.
Right. They want that quick fix.
Yeah, it never gets easy.
Yeah.
And if you want, and the better shape you get in, the harder you work.
Yeah.
Often. So maybe I don't have a solid answer on that question, but I think it's something that you've got to earn, and that takes hard work and time and patience and a commitment. And these are attributes that a lot of people just have to, quite frankly, they have to work on regularly. Is
Yeah.
being patient or working hard regularly, or when it comes to physical. So it's not that cut and dry, but that's why I'm in business, because most people I've found are not intrinsically motivated when it comes to working out.
Right.
Some are, and those type of people, they don't necessarily need me. They're going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
But that's few and far between. People who are naturally intrinsically motivated when it comes to working out, but people who don't have that attribute naturally, they're inclined to quit or go back to their comforts.
Sure.
When they're presented with any kind of challenge with this. And that's why people are cycling in and out and in and out constantly when it comes to working out. So having someone like me, or our coaches, or other people in the industry who are nerds about this stuff, like,
Yeah.
I live, eat, and breathe fitness. It's part of my life. I've been doing it since I was working out since I was 15 years old. I'm 48.
Yeah.
It's part of my DNA. People need that external form of accountability and motivation, and having an appointment, or if you're paying for it, that ups the level of importance of it. So, that's why even during these times, with the shutdown, with the virus, I'm actually thriving.
Yeah.
And I'm busier than I've probably been in 15 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm literally, I'm at the point where I have no availability anymore. I'm swamped.
Good for you, Paul.
I can't take on another appointment. And thank you. And I
Yeah.
don't say that to boast, but I'm saying it's because,
No, boast.
well, I hustle.
No,
I hustle, and
you do, Paul. Yes, you
I've
definitely
always
do.
been a hustler, but
A
there's
humble hustler, though.
thank you. I
Yeah.
try, but there's a great need for my service right now, because people don't have a gym that they can go to.
Sure.
People need that accountability, because there's people that are gaining weight right now and becoming less active. You would think that they have more time, and
Right.
that they'd actually be more productive when it comes to working out. But there's people that are dealing with emotions or situations that aren't easy for them. So people are more inclined, I feel, to go into their normal pattern. So if you're a real fit person, you're probably going to get the most fit you are in your whole life right now. But if you are someone who needs help with that, you might fall further down the rabbit hole.
Right.
During these times. So, anyways, point being, there's a great need for what I have to offer for people right now. So we're doing really well.
That's why, like, I'm so excited to talk to you and just other people in different spaces to be able to share ways of how to bridge that gap and bring it back into, taking care of yourself and loving yourself, and, and in your space being, how can you physically do that? How can you physically connect and, work out and move your body? So 30 years in this profession, what keeps you going in this profession? Why do you keep choosing to be a personal trainer? Why do you choose to be, just in this space for 30 years, and I'm guessing onward.
Well, I think to answer that question, I have to kind of go back in the past and give you a hair bit of history.
Okay.
When I was 14, 15 years old, I started working out because I wanted to get buff. I thought it would help me meet women, which it didn't. But um, I once I started doing it, I found, gosh, I really like to exercise.
Mm,
And because I was so thin, and I still am, and I wanted to get more muscular, and I was doing things to try and make that happen with not having a lot of success. So it forced me to learn to start reading and educating myself. And I began to learn a lot of techniques and things that I don't think a lot of people knew. And so I found that my knowledge base was increasing, and I started helping my friends, and they got results from the things that I would tell them. And I started getting a lot of positive feeling from that. Like I was saying earlier, you make a sale and you get a good feeling from it. But for me, not just for my own physical results, but helping other people, I started getting a feeling of that at a young age. And then I used to pull tack cards off of like, you know, uh, tack boards, business cards off of tack boards at like health food stores. That's what we did back 30 years ago to advertise.
okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I'd find business cards of trainers and I'd call them, like a prank call them. Hey, so what do you do? How much do you charge? And I was just being a teenager, and I called this one lady. Her name was Judy Gillette, and she owned fitness training studios here in town 30 years ago. And she could see, we just got into a conversation. She could see that I had a lot of passion about working out and exercise, and she offered me a job as a trainer at 19 years old, and I had no experience and no certification.
Mm,
And I went and then I started training. The very first day when I trained some people and I kicked their ass, I got such a high off of that that I was like, wow, I loved training people. I just found my passion at 19 years old.
wow.
So that has carried me, that drive and that reward that I get when I train somebody my entire career. And like recently going back in with the whole shutdown of my gym and locally,
Yeah.
I've gotten back into training heavily again, and I love it. And I like
Yeah.
it just as much right now as I did back when I very first did it at 19 years old. So
That's awesome.
that's carried me, like I found a passion, and I was fortunate to find my passion at 19, because I think sometimes people never find it, for a career. So
Sure.
what I'm doing, it's not work to me, Letty.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love training. I love helping people, having a gym, building a business. All of these things come together. So for me, it's not really work. It gives me that sense of fulfillment.
That's awesome. That makes me happy. Um, so 30 years, you were obviously always inside of a gym, whether it was, gyms around town, which you're from Vegas, correct? Originally?
Yeah.
So born and raised in Vegas, you've been around in different gyms, and then eventually opened your own gym 7 years ago, or 8 years ago. Sorry, 8 years ago this month. Um, and so you've always been used to, being in front of your clients, having the one-on-one or having group fitness training, and the whole part of, when I thought of this particular show, I thought of the power of pivoting, because for someone like yourself to be so used to this certain type of norm, even with, social media and, digital platforms and things like that, kind of, you know, coming into, our time, with the whole COVID, how quick was your turnaround at that point when you realized that you had to now shut your doors without it being your choice, without it being because of business not working or because you needed a break or because you needed to remodel, but because it was something that you had to do? How quick was that turnaround? What was going through your mind at that time? And that's a twofold question. So what was going through your mind, and then how quick did you have to turn around and make shifts to pivot?
Well, in the last um, 3 years or so, a lot of our business has gone corporate. So, we have training and one-on-one training and sessions at the gym for
Right.
small groups, but we have accounts with businesses here in town. In
Right.
particular, Zappos is our largest account. And prior to the governor announcing that non-essential businesses like mine had to close,
Sure.
I don't know, remember the exact timeline. It was a week to 2 weeks, but the Zappos campus shut down. And that meant um, prior to its shutdown, we were hosting upwards of 80 workouts, classes a month there,
Just as Zappos.
just at Zappos.
Yeah.
We had on-site personal training. We had on-site trainers that also did coaching, whether it be nutrition or fitness. So that account was a big part of our business. And when it shut down, it was like, oh my gosh, like that whole arm of our income went away.
Mm.
And that was a big hit to us because it supports the entire company. And but we have a good relationship with human resources and management there, who has enabled us to build this account with them, and they immediately started thinking about doing virtual training. So while the Commerce, our downtown location, was still open, and our Plaza location still being open, it was in the works for Zappos to go virtual. So within 2-3 weeks, we started doing virtual classes for them. But then, right in the midst of all that, we
Mm-hmm.
had to shut down our business, and
Right.
the Plaza gym closed. The other corporate accounts that we had to close down. So instantaneously, we had to think about going virtual immediately,
Yeah.
and like as an entirety, not just with our corporate. So we had to very quickly put that whole thing together. Fortunately, we were very accustomed to using Zoom, which is the digital platform for hosting online meetings,
Right.
and because we had been using that in meetings for I think over a year and a half, and we had known and heard that you could do workouts on Zoom, which is how we were doing it on with our virtual client Zappos. So our corporate client, pardon me, doing virtual with them. And so we just basically took our format, which is called SGX, small group training, and one-on-one. And just a little side note, back in November, we ditched our class model altogether and went exclusively to small group and one-on-one training.
Right.
So that pivot in November really lended well to taking our small group model virtual, because they were already kind of accustomed to that personal aspect of doing it.
Okay.
Whereas, the reason why we stopped doing the classes is because there was no accountability with that. People could just come and go as they please.
Right.
But with our small group, everything is appointment based. So they have to book, the appointments got to get booked with the coach, and they're held accountable to these appointments. And our retention rate with that model has gone from 30% to 80%,
Oh, wow.
which is crazy in the fitness industry. Uh,
Sure.
we had heard a stat at MindBody Bold, or MindBody University, which is our gym software, that nationwide, with all of their accounts, the average rate of retention is 30%. And I had been doing small group training myself for the
Yeah.
last 2 years, which
Yeah.
and my rate of retention was over 80%. So it was a no-brainer for us to switch to that model. But anyhow, when the pivot had to occur, we already had that model in place with accountability and appointments. So our clients were very open-minded to trying it. Plus, they didn't have a gym, so they
Right.
needed something. They didn't want to stop training, and we went virtual. And so all the coaches who were doing it contacted their clients and set up the appointment times. And with virtual, you don't really need equipment. And that's the nice thing about how exercise has evolved over the last few years. You can work your entire body very well with no equipment. Now, if you have
Right.
equipment, it helps, whether it be, one kettlebell, one dumbbell, and a mat. With just that, you can do 1,000 exercises.
Yep.
And, so it's unlimited what you are capable of. But the other nice thing that we did was we lended out equipment.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Yeah, that was awesome.
It
And
was,
is that equipment still out with those people?
yeah.
Wow.
So a ton of our clients have borrowed equipment from us. We did not charge them anything. We just said, here, come by the gym and pick this stuff up, use it for your house. We want you to stay fit. So that was a great cultural move that we made that helped people. But now they also have equipment that they can use for these virtual workouts.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's
Eliminating the excuses, right, Paul?
yeah, I mean, really, there's no reason to stop.
Right.
Unless monetarily they can't afford it, or it's just not the right setup for them, or their kids are in their face all the time. They don't have any space to be able to do this. But I'd say that the strong majority of our clients, about 80%, have stuck with us, whether it be
Wow. Good for you.
one-on-one, one-on-one, or in a group setting. And the virtual classes have been going incredibly well with Zappos, and now they're opening up all of their services with us that we had prior, but now virtually. So it's looking very strong that we're going to get back up to par financially with almost no hiccup.
That's awesome.
But the other thing that, and not everybody's going to agree with me on this, and I get it, but I also started doing mobile personal training. So I load up my Jeep with equipment and I go to a person's house, but it's got to be done outdoors. And I maintain 10 feet of distance from people, and I sanitize the equipment before and after. So I'm practicing safe social distancing, and it's being very sanitary. And this service, I'm charging double. So
Why did you go that route? Even though you have still the virtual platforms and you can still do one-on-one training, why are you showing up to their house? Like, what made you go, you know what, I still want to show up. I still want to be, and I'm going to load this truck up or your Jeep up with this equipment.
The demand, I wasn't planning on it. The demand came my way.
Like,
So
people were asking you?
Yeah, people were asking me, and I said, well, look, we charge $80 an hour for one-on-one training at the gym. If I'm going to come see you, it's going to be double the rate because of my drive time. And so people who are in who have the financial means said, that's fine. And so I picked up, I've got a client who I'm going to his house 5 days a week and training him outdoors. Oh, wow. And he loves it. And it's working great for me and for the company. I basically stopped taking a salary, Letty. So all the income that I'm bringing in is going to support the business. And we are doing really well. Are we making as much as before? No, but we are almost there.
You're sustaining, and you're coming back up.
By the time the gym reopens, God willing,
it will.
I believe that it will be icing on the cake, and that we'll be making even more than we did before because of the degree that we're hustling and working hard, and how the virtual model is expanding and the demand for mobile training. So 2 new services have come out of this.
Yes.
Virtual training.
I love that.
Virtual training and the mobile training. And I'm acquiring clients. This is the crazy part. Not to talk too long, but
you're fine.
The crazy part, Letty, is that clients that I used to train in the past are now re-signing with me.
Yeah, I saw Dave Hall came back.
Yeah. And also I'm acquiring clients in other states.
Yes, I was going to ask. So what I was going to ask was, because you now have these 2 services, are you going to keep virtual training as a permanent service now as part of your results?
100%.
That's awesome. Fist pump me. Fist pump. Boom. Boom. There it is. There it is. All right. Boom.
I'm just really thrilled, about this opportunity that's been presented to me, and
Yeah.
I'm taking advantage of it. I'm really hustling it because I had no clue that this virtual thing could be as good as it is, and
Yeah.
I'm
Well, that's
stoked.
what I was going to ask, was that have you ever thought about it prior to, our current situation? Have you ever thought like, oh, I'm going to take this virtual at some point?
Well, there's a side of me that some people don't know, which is I really love to travel, and the thing that's most annoying about this whole thing is that I can't go anywhere. And a real
Yeah.
passion of mine is to explore other countries and have adventures. And I've had some thoughts in the past, they were fleeting. Boy, what if I just sold everything and I just moved to Colombia and I started training people virtually? I've thought about that, but you know, and who knows, maybe I'll do that one day. But right now, things are
Yeah.
just going so well that I don't know, maybe, but I could go on vacation now and I could train when I'm gone.
There you go.
You know, I so, but I mean that kind of defeats the point of having a vacation is working. But
Well, you could live in another country and you could
that's what
like,
I'm saying. Like,
be away for a month or 6 months in one place and come to Vegas for another 6 months
yeah,
and still run your business, virtually have still an open gym that people can come to, because people are still going to want to come into a gym, you
for
know.
sure.
And so now you offer all those services.
I'm planning for the future with what we have to offer right now. That's all I can do is what's available. What can I do right now, which is the virtual and the mobile. So I intend to keep these services going now, and I intend to keep the services afterwards.
How has this powerful pivot that you've made strengthened your business, but also strengthened you personally?
Great question. Well, it strengthened our business because we've learned. Look, one thing about me and Mark and Cassandra, who are like my team, who we run the company,
Yeah.
they're, the three of us are very resilient people. And, we're not the type of people that are going to bury our tails in the sand. And, when the going gets tough. Like the first day the gym closed, I allowed myself to go home and sulk and be really upset.
Yeah.
But the next day, that's the past. It's a new day. It's time to go kick some ass and make some things happen. So I started, hustling. And they're the same way. They're very, they're the type of people who are really flexible and can make moves and adjust. And we thrive under pressure. So it's made me stronger. It's made me. I said this to someone the other day that COVID, I'm actually really thankful for it right now. And I don't say that to minimize the pain and suffering anybody's going through right now,
Sure.
because I'm fully aware of that. But it's made me stronger because it's actually lit a fire under my ass that I haven't felt in 15 years. And I'm working harder than I've worked right now than I have, but I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Maybe I shouldn't cuss, but
It's all good.
I'm really enjoying my life right now. And I feel a little guilty saying that when I know that there's people that are having a hard time. Because I'm in my zone with work, and I get a lot of fulfillment out of what I do. So I'm doing so much of it, and I'm feeling very fulfilled. I will be honest that on the weekends, aren't easy for me, because I don't have anybody in my life. I'm single. My mother is, I can't go see her that much. So
Right.
the weekends are harder for me because I'm not in the trenches of work. So and I'm alone a lot, and that'll weigh on a person after a while. So I'm really just trying to stay productive on the weekends and reach out to friends. But that's been the tough part for me is feeling lonely,
Mm.
and not having anybody to share my life with. Like you've got Angel, and I'd be thrilled to have somebody, but it's the way it is right now.
No one should be ashamed of, just taking advantage of this time. When you were saying it, I'm in the same place, right? Angel's in the same place. Our business is in the same place. And, anyone else viewing this, there may be people that are in that same place, or they may be on the other side of that coin, and, they're going through something. But I think it's, this is why it had to happen, right? Wherever you were before this happened, this is only going to amplify it even more, and you got to come through it and be better and be stronger. So you were already a strong entrepreneur, you're already a strong trainer, but this just amplified who you were, and
Yeah.
so but you're human, and you also have your other things that you have to still battle with on your own, that were something you're probably battling with ahead of time, before everything. And so I don't think we should be ashamed, but yes, definitely have compassion for those that are suffering or going through it in a way that isn't in that positive light, and hope that they find themselves, because this is the moment to do it, right? Whether it is personal training or some kind of physical workout, or just changing something, because once this world reopens, it's not going to look the same.
Yeah.
It's going to look the same, but it's not going to be the same. you know um so yeah, so you make a great point. So I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how strong your business is and how stronger you are personally. Again, like we said, you have to come first. So as long as you are staying strong, everything else around you will as well. So
Well,
kudos to you.
thank you. I will say that, there are people who can't afford what we charge. And I've been giving out a lot of free training
Oh
to
wow.
people.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm still trying to do things that are, just to help people, not just for work.
Sure.
And um, I've always believed that, when you work hard, that things come your way and you get more lucky.
Yeah.
Uh, so, I started, promoting my virtual, but some people are not in a position to do it, but it doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to benefit from it.
Right.
So I've opened the doors to helping people with this process also.
That's
And
awesome.
thank you. And Mark, for example, is really helping people with the operational element, like, helping them get loans. Like, we've been able to acquire a PPP loan, that's going to help our employees and to be able to get paid.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
we're trying to still take care of our team,
That's great.
and also help people in the community to um, do things that can help their business, or just with their fitness and health in general. And
Yeah.
I've also one thing that I've done as a result of all this is I've really ramped up my social media presence, and I'm trying to put a lot more out there that is helpful and relevant to people, and just stay really active. So I'd say, from a business perspective, that's been great for me. And I'm finally learning what I need to do from a social media perspective to get
Yeah.
more, to create engagement.
Yeah, I love those videos that you've been creating. And I think anyone watching this that, has also kind of just fell into, obviously you were active on social media, but just, how you've now leaned in more to it and be like, hey, not only obviously with the virtual, but, using all these platforms to, you know, build your brand and promote your brand. And so I think that's a huge, lesson that anyone that's building a business right now or starting something, to really lean in on these digital platforms and use them as a way to, get the word out about what they're doing. So I've seen your videos, and I'm like, why hasn't he been doing that this whole time? You
Yeah,
know, but it happened, right? Like now you are. And so now, like you said, we can't go to the past. It's over. You're here now. And yeah,
yeah,
so, and those videos are appreciated because they also help me like get ideas in my own personal workout. So again, Paul, you're always there, even when you don't know you're there. And I'm sure not just for me, but for others as well. So
I
again,
appreciate it.
kudos.
Thank you.
How has the connection with your team and your clients, remain, been the same, or how have you guys been able to connect during these times?
Well, you know, we're making an effort to reach out to our team, on a regular basis. I'm actually training some of them, virtually.
Oh,
So
wow.
that, um,
That's
and
cool.
we have a small handful of employees that have went on full unemployment. They chose to do that. Like one of them was working our corporate account, and because the corporate account really minimized
Right.
that, it made more sense for him to go on full unemployment. But we host every other week like a virtual family time where we just get together and talk,
Nice.
uh, all virtually on Zoom. So that's been going well. That's fun. And I think it's Friday. We're going to do tacos, tequila, and tamales, where we all get together and have prizes, and we give gift cards. And so we're staying interactive with our with our team, and we call them our family.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's been going really well, actually. Now, granted, we're not physically present, which would be much better, but the virtual stuff has really helped quite a bit.
That's
So,
awesome.
and I make an effort to call them also and just reach
Yeah.
out to them.
Yeah, you're always good at that though, Paul. Like, Angel and I always speak on that of how good you are just reaching out and connecting, and you're kind of, yeah, you lead the way in that connecting. When this all happened, we're all told to connect, and you always have done that, and just kind of chime in out of nowhere and say, "Hey, how are you doing? How are things?" And that's your humble hustle, but I also think it's, but it's nice, you know what I mean? Even if it's like, "Hey, I'm doing good," or "Thank you for thinking of me," you know, so I know that you're good at that, so
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
I'd like to add something to that, which is a Paul Rosenberg trick, for lack of a better term. One
Okay,
thing that
we're getting some tips and tricks now, guys.
one
Lean
thing that
in.
I've always done when it comes to business,
Hmm.
and I've known this to be true in my life for the last 30 years, that whenever I felt a slow period, that was a signal to me that I needed to up my level of service to my clients.
Mm,
So the way I do that, and then you've seen this with me over the years, is
yeah,
I just start going through my phone. Hey, what's going on? How's your workout coming along? And I do that regardless of now, and for years, regardless if I'm slow or busy. I'm always reaching out to people. So if I get my claws on someone and they start training with me, it's like they're my client for life.
yeah,
Even if they're not training with me for 2 years, I'll still reach out to them and keep that relationship going
yeah,
because I care. People want to see that you care by your effort, and even if they're not paying me, I'm still going to reach out to them because I genuinely like people of all walks of life, and I'm very accepting of people of all walks of life. So because I just like people, so I'm always reaching out, and I'm good at building and maintaining relationships. That's my greatest strength.
it is.
And that's why people that have not trained with me for 10 years are back training with me again right now,
Yeah.
because they know that I'm a reliable person when it comes to that, and I'm very loyal.
I did have a
Appreciate
question though about the corporate, so someone watching, that may have a business or maybe part of a business that wants to kind of, get more or kind of learn like what is the benefit of corporate training? Like what would be the number one or two things that you would say is the benefit and for that
it.
service that you offer?
When someone is taking care of themselves, um, in their life, like we've going back to the question that you first posed about why can someone be successful in one area and not in another?
Yeah,
Remember that?
sure.
If you have a number of, like, if you have a business and you have 50 employees and none of them are really exercising, how good do you think their productivity is going to be, their mental sharpness, their determination to grow as individuals?
Hmm.
That's the biggest part, is when you get people who are taking care of themselves, they're focused on growth and commitment,
Yeah,
making that commitment and becoming better. You can
yeah,
9 times out of 10, it's almost a guarantee that they're going to be a better employee
yeah,
because they're wanting to grow. If you're caught in an environment where you're just not growing, you're not going to be a happy person. So
sure.
it affects your entire life, your mentality, your work ethic, your capabilities, your commitment, your passion, your desire. all those things get enhanced. That's just on a personal level. And when you infuse fitness into a work culture, it spreads like, a snowball effect. It has a snowball effect. Like, it'll start affecting other people. Oh, you're working out, and they're going to want to start working out. And
Yeah.
it starts building community. You build a fitness community within a business. That's a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
And it creates togetherness amongst the employees. As an employer, if you're providing this service to your employees, and
Yeah.
it's such a great thing for them, how do you think that that's going to help them in terms of wanting to stick with this company?
Right. The retention.
Or they're going to really appreciate that their employer is doing this for them.
Absolutely. What is your go-to workout? What is something that you just, when it's time for you to work out personally, and not personally training anyone, what is your go-to? What is your go-to workout? And I'm going to add, what is your go-to workout song that just gets you in the zone?
Well, as far as my go-to workout, I'm a little old school, and I like pumping iron.
Okay.
But I also, I like weightlifting. But I also really love biking.
Okay.
So I have a road bike, where your feet clip in.
Yeah.
And I like going on long rides. That's
Nice.
just how I get in my zone.
Nice.
I also like running stairs, and I like hiking a lot.
That's awesome.
So those are my go-tos. And as far as my workout song of choice, I also would consider myself a music snob. So I think, to narrow it down to one song, there's just too many great artists out there. But as far as probably my go-to genres,
Yep. Perfect.
it's probably like classic rock, like hard Led Zeppelin,
Okay.
or like 90s hip hop, like Public Enemy.
Nice.
Or something like that. Something that's very
Like
hard.
from one end to the other, but I like it.
Yeah, just something that's got a lot of aggression gets me going.
I appreciate your time, Paul, and just getting on here and sharing with us, just your story of where you've come from and the power of your pivot. And I'm so proud of you to see how, these times have strengthened your business, yourself, your team, and I think it's amazing. So thank you so much for joining me here today on Motivational Movement. Where can people, again, give them your website, give them your social media where they can follow you and get in contact with you to start services with you?
So first of all, thank you very much for having me. I had fun.
Oh,
and
good.
if you'd like to do another one at any point, just let me know. I can always come up with something to talk about.
Okay.
But, yeah.
We'll do a follow-up.
realresultsfitness.com is the website, or Paul at realresultsfitness is my email, or at .com, pardon me. And as far as Instagram, it's Real Results LV, or Real Results for Facebook.